Excuse me.
What's up,
Excuse
man?
me.
What, to catch a fade, huh?
Dick pic.
Think it's okay, huh? Sending pictures of your knob to a 15-year-old girl? You're lucky I'll end your life right now, Carrot Top.
And I saw what you wrote to her. If you don't show me something soon, then I'm going to lose interest. You know, that's actually sexual assault, young man. It's disgusting.
Not such a big man now, are you, huh? Come on, whip it out. Show everybody those big shaved plums you're so proud of.
What?
Oh.
Ah.
All
All of a sudden, I just saw some faces.
Yeah. And you got a block. I fixed the sound. If you didn't realize that, I made it so it didn't end so abruptly.
Beautiful. I did notice, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. But I'm sorry to interrupt you, Michael Colby. You were hosting this show, so go ahead.
I'm hosting the show?
We just talked about that for about 10 minutes.
Am I the closest one to Chris Harvey? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. You're East Coast. You're East Coast Chris Harvey, even though Chris Harvey's on the East Coast currently. But yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the Real Boys, where we get a bunch of mostly funny, mostly dudes, mostly white, mostly straight guys. And we talk about movies. We all picked our top 5 favorite movies. Some of them are great, and some of them are just fucking the worst movies you'll ever watch. And then we talk about them, and we review them, and we talk shit on the movies and each other. So today we are starting the number 1 cycle of movies. And we are kicking it off with Chris Harvey's number 1, a movie that I not only have never seen, but have never heard of before Chris put up his list. So we watched this unforgivably long movie. And now we're going to talk about it.
Yeah. We could also talk about Willow if anybody wants.
I would rather not talk about Willow, even though I don't think I was on that episode. I still did watch the show. I still did watch the movie, and no, I never want to think about Willow again.
Yeah, so obviously, welcome to another episode of Jack Billings Presents Some Nobodies Talk About Movies for people that are on other movie podcasts. We are the Real Boys, and if you want to hear the other Real Boys, tune into their movie podcasts, such as OMG Movies Podcast.
Or the Phil Better Show.
Or the Phil Better Show, or OMG Movies 2 /anime shenanigans, where you can find the other 5 Real Boys doing the things that we're supposed to be doing on this show.
They've been tagged and released to the wild. We know where they are, but we're just monitoring them.
Yeah, it's crazy when somebody's like, "Hey, I have an idea," and we're like, "Fine." And then they're like, "This idea sucks. We're gonna do our own." We thought there'd be way more bro movies here, and why isn't there just more like Fight Club? Why can't we talk about
why are there so many
Saints 2? You know?
Why are there so many movies about like families and nice animated movies about your journey into adulthood? Why do we have all these movies? I just want to see, people getting punched in the face and shot in the neck and more movies with
Yeah.
More movies with Mark Wahlberg. More.
We need more movies that for some reason you have to say no homo. So here we go. Let's talk about this movie. Now, the weird thing is, out of everybody that's on the show, Chris Harvey has probably the most surprising movie selections. He is the one who brought Forrest Gump to the table, which is a very, very badly mediocre bad movie.
Season 2 of The Real Boys is going to be The Real Boys : we need to stop talking about Forrest Gump.
We just need to not talk about season 1.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's true. And you also get a sneak peek of what one of the bits that we're going to be doing, which is, remember The Real Boys, and where we'll be reviewing the shows that The Real Boys were doing instead of this show.
Yeah, we're gonna do the first 5 episodes of season 2 is going to have a eulogy for one of the Real Boys that came before them, and then as we give the eulogy, we're gonna add another new person to the cast of the show.
Speaking of adding new people, it's Chris Harvey.
Hey,
what's up, guys?
It's Chris Harvey.
It's me.
Boy.
The heart of The Real Boys has returned once again.
That's true. Oh, yeah, we were actually just about to get started on this movie. And
before we talk about the movie, can I talk to just Chris Harvey for a second?
Yes.
Chris.
Yes.
Now, everybody else, listeners, you have to turn off your things. Everybody else, take off your headphones. I need to address Chris personally right now. Now, Chris.
Yes.
When we are done with this episode, I am going to say some very nice things about this movie and give it a higher rating than you expect me to give it to. Okay. And I need you to remember this, because for the rest of the episode, I'm going to be relentlessly shitting on this movie. Okay, but just remember that at the end, there's going to be some nice stuff said and a decent score given. All right?
Fine. No problem.
All right. Everybody else can come back now.
Okay.
I'm kind of in the same spot as Michael.
Real quick,
you weren't supposed to be listening.
Physically, I was in the same corner.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to listen the rest of the episode just in case.
Just real quick, I just walked by my roommate's room and I had a ring light over their bed. So if you guys hear anything, I think they're making OnlyFans. So just I apologize in advance.
That's okay. Open your door so that we can at least, get a little peek of it.
Yeah. Our most listened to episode yet.
Maybe some of the Real Boys will show up and listen to that.
Dude, Zack, how is your camera so clear? I need that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
you look great. You look pretty.
It's a MacBook. Hey, thank you very much.
You should send that to Michael. It would help a lot.
You don't want to see me any clearer than my shitty camera gets
the
me.
Weird thing is, he has the same camera I do. He's just fuzzy in person. So,
that makes sense.
very, very weird, but whatever.
Just the air quality in Pennsylvania.
It's dank. But yeah, so if you're still here, we are going to be talking about Instant Family, which is Chris Harvey's #1 favorite movie. Now, just in case you don't know what this movie is, I'm going to give you some background on it. Now, it is a 2018 American family comedy drama starring Mr. Mark Wahlberg, Rose Byrne, as parents who adopt 3 siblings, played by Isabela Moner, Gustavo Quiroz, I don't know how to say that properly, didn't read that before, but also has Margo Martindale, Tig Notaro, Octavia Spencer. It's directed by Sean Anders, who wrote the screenplay with John Morris, and it's actually based on Anderson's own experiences. He was writing, he's known for, if you know his other movies, he did the other 2, like Daddy's Home, whatever, that trash Mark Wahlberg with Will Ferrell. He did Dumb and Dumber 2. He also helped out on something else. But he's known for having like dysfunctional fathers. That's like the theme of all of his movies. And while writing one of those movies, he kind of joked to his wife and said, I don't want to have a kid now. I'm getting a little bit older. Maybe I should adopt a 5-year-old. That way it's like I started 5 years earlier. And the wife was like, hey, I'm probably into that too, which led into kind of what happened in this story. So it's loosely based on true events from the director / co-writer. And there was a point watching this movie, and I was like, is this a good movie? And I think it's very close to being a very good movie.
It's very close to being a very good movie. And I'll tell you what went wrong. They took 2 extra things and just shoved it into this movie that could have been good, but they felt like they needed to shove some extra some extra drama into the movie. So they took 2 separate things that they barely talk about and made it a half an hour longer than it needed to be. And it made this movie so it's disjointed because there is a story there and they keep throwing in these things that don't need to be there. And that's what stops it from being a good movie.
Yeah. But the main storyline, and especially with Dora the Explorer, who is phenomenal. She is phenomenal.
She is. I could not believe it. Yeah. I never cry at movies, but there was a scene where she's getting her hair brushed. And then the mom comes in and starts brushing her hair. The emotion that Dora has on her face, I was like, holy shit, this is real. This is real stuff.
Yeah, she really got it. There was
she's
even with her face, in that one court scene where she looks over her mom and she's like, Mom, she is doing a phenomenal job. And
she's fantastic.
I think the problem that this movie has is that they force Mark Wahlberg into it. I almost don't know why Mark Wahlberg is in this, except for the fact that he's friends with a director. And I think that if you had somebody that was trying to make this a drama first, this exact movie would be great. The problem is that I think that they're forcing comedy into it because it's the Daddy's Home guy. But the comedy is fine. The story is great, and that's an interesting concept.
He did this movie for his kids, specifically. He did this movie so that he could have a movie he could show his kids as they were growing older.
I mean, I'm into that too.
This and Scoob, and there was one other he did that he specifically did because he wanted his kids to have something they could watch with him in it. Yeah. And this was one of them, and I'm like, yeah, this is a family cry together movie. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But also good for adults to be able to watch with their kids and still have some context that's funny. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So one part I want to guess is what I didn't like about the movie, is what I'm assuming Mike might be talking about. I don't think the whole part of them going back with their mother is necessary at all.
That's one of them.
Yep.
I think that's my least favorite part. And then her not coming and showing up. I get the idea, but it's such a good story that you didn't need all that extra stuff. You didn't need the scene where they're like, "Oh, read the letter." You got to read, because it was so good up to that point anyway. You could have went in so many different directions. I don't think we had to bring the mother back, especially didn't really make sense to the storyline for the fact of in the beginning they said, well, the mother won't be too much of a problem because she's incarcerated. So at that point, writing wise, you already dismissed the mother. You didn't have to bring her back into the script.
And there was also already so much tension within the family that they didn't need the mother to cause the tension to make you think that they might not end up adopting these kids. You're right. That's one of the things that I was talking about. The mother parts are completely useless in this movie. Completely useless.
Yeah, the court scene was great though. I'll say that. But yeah, the additional stuff with the mom, I think it made the movie drag a little bit. And that's why I was saying they forced it into a drama, but it was a little weird. But I'll say this movie did very well though. It came out November 16th, 2018. The budget was only $48 million. Opening weekend it only did $14 million, but total it did well over 120 worldwide.
I think what was crazy is not a lot of people knew about it. Even you guys didn't know about it. And I think that first weekend it did well enough to where people said, "Hey, go see this with your kids. Go see this with your family." I think that's why it did so well second week.
Yeah,
This
and
this is exactly the sort of movie that my high school would have taken kids on as like the reward. Where it's like, you're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
spend the day to go see a
absolutely.
movie. It's got
Mhm.
Mark Wahlberg in it, and all the kids are like, yeah, Transformers, and it's a movie about family coming together. It's like, oh
Yeah.
well, I mean, we got out of school for a movie, and I guess it was
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, this movie was nominated for like 5 teen, inspired awards, and Isabela has won 2 herself. For this movie, she is so good. And I watched Dora a while ago when it first came out. Because I'm like, what is this about? And
I love that. I think it's so fun.
Yeah, I was like, this movie's fine. I'm into it. She did great. Fun movie. Did not expect this performance out of her, especially 3 years ago. But yeah, do you want to hop into like what the movie's about? Do you want to go, Chris? How do you want to do this? What do you want to do?
I don't know. I like it. First, I want to conversate about how I obviously just pointed out that there are flaws about this movie, so I'm not being biased. So you're welcome. But yeah, we can go any direction. I enjoy seeing you guys talk about it. I'm excited that I have a movie that isn't shitted on, like trash, complete trash. I've been Quiet Place up to Lion King. It was hard to join these.
Can I say something else about Chris? I love this entire time. Every time Chris is on, he talks about how he loves setups and then callbacks. Setups and callbacks. Setups and callbacks. I appreciate that Chris gave us a number 5 movie in The Quiet Place that he knew was garbage, and he knew that we were going to talk shit on the nail through the foot, and then his number 1 movie has a fucking nail through the foot. Chris Harvey, master of callbacks.
Classic.
Wow.
It's like
Classic
bookends
Harvey.
at poetry.
I'm trying to tell you, I'm
Yeah.
a genius. People just don't realize it. Thank
That
you.
is.
As soon as I saw the nail gun drop, I'm like, did Chris Harvey give us a callback from all the way on his first episode?
And this is a much better nail scene.
This is a nail scene that makes sense.
Mhm.
It also bothered me that the nail goes through the foot. We have this whole big hospital scene. It is sort of where Dora says, okay, I like this. I'm this is where we find out that she is in with this family. But then we find out, oh, it's fine. He just needs a couple stitches. It's talked about one other time in the entire movie, and it's a throwaway line. The kid doesn't limp. There's never any sort of... It's just... He gets a nail all the way through his foot, and then it just goes away. It's fine. And it's like... I didn't need a lot more, but I needed something more out of this nail entirely through this child's foot.
I think the timeline, they don't really explain it, but it was actually like a lot of months that they were with them. So I think the montage didn't go the way they think it went, because I think it was like over 6 months they were with the foster kids.
They did say the amount of months that they were with them. But again, it was a throwaway line. It was way longer than it seemed like it was.
Yeah. You know what? The other part I hated about the film was the fact that she fought so hard to stay with the family, and then at the end used it to get back with her mother. I didn't like that. It was like, oh, she, used things against them I didn't think the mother part was important, like I said. So to use all that in the letter for the court, and then it was stuff that she already was trying, like anything that happened at the nail scene or before, I thought was irrelevant to the courts at that point, because she already fought. It was just, I didn't like that whole part of it.
I also think that everything before the nail scene was irrelevant to anything I was watching. One of my notes is the first 40 minutes of this movie is unbearable. It's so boring.
It's a lot of build-up, but it does make you love the character.
It did a great job, and this movie could have been a half an hour shorter, and they could have taken the stuff off the end, and then the beginning.
2
fucking hours long.
Is this 2 hours?
It's 2 hours.
I didn't know that. I did not know that. This is how you know I love this movie. I hate long movies, and I didn't know this was a 2 hour movie.
Yeah, it's
And
2
I've
hours.
watched this. I've easily watched this at least 11 or 12 times.
Wow, as many times as I watched Rubber.
Yeah,
That's crazy to me because, you know, like this isn't a comedy that you could just kind of pop on. This is a, you know, almost drag you through, you know, the problems of raising foster children.
It's an emotional investment.
Yeah.
How do you rewatch this movie that many times? Do you skip certain scenes?
no,
Because like,
I watch it from so for a couple times. This is when I realized I really, really enjoyed the movie. Before we did the podcast, if I was eating something and couldn't find something on, I would put this on, and I'd be like, "Dang!" And then I would do it a lot, and I was like, "I really love this movie," and then I started showing people. I showed my mom, and she loved it. I showed my brother, and he loved it. And I'm like, I really enjoy. I could watch it a lot, and then I watched it again by myself, and I laugh every time. Like I laugh at so many parts in this movie. I love the Mark Wahlberg, the rescue kid bit, the whole talking about they're like dogs and you could maybe it would be so hard. I think that's hilarious. I laugh every time. The whole bit that Elijah Such a Girl is Sandra Bullock from Blindside. It's one of my favorite
They didn't
bits.
do nearly enough with Eliza Schlesinger.
Yeah.
That was a very good character.
that was funny.
Yeah.
And it's just to that, like the characters I love so much, like Tom Segura with the jokes in the beginning. And I think that's what it is there's so many little jokes that maybe everyone doesn't get, but I laugh at all of them. Just the shit that Tom Segura says all the time in the beginning. And then one of my favorite parts of the scene is when they're arguing at Thanksgiving and he has his eyes closed the whole time. To me, it's just, I can laugh at this movie. This movie is funny to me.
Yeah.
It's
like
funny without being a comedy, which I really liked. There was a part of it. There was eventually a part where I realized like this is funny, but everybody is reacting to these situations as if they're real people and they're not snarking constantly. And that's when I started to really kind of appreciate like, okay, this movie's taking itself seriously enough that it's not going to like undermine its own kind of emotional weight.
Yeah. It has like that holiday movie feel to it. Like it's not a Christmas movie, but it feels like a holiday wholesome, it's like a really just super rich meal for some reason that like, I don't know if I always want to eat it, but I was very happy at the end of it. Cause like I said, I was like, wait, is this a really good movie? Because dude, plot A, I was 100% in. I wish it wasn't Mark Wahlberg for this particular movie.
Kurt Russell.
Do you think Kurt Russell would have been better?
Kurt would have killed it in this one.
I actually don't think Kurt Russell would have.
No.
Who do you think would play like this character really, really well?
It's hard to say, but Mark
Dane
Wahlberg
Cook.
brings. Oh,
Get out of my fucking face, Dylan.
Ryan Reynolds.
You now are uninvited to season 2. How dare you? Not like, obviously not like a Ryan Reynolds. Like I want to see someone almost like a Hugh Jackman where like, it doesn't really matter what they've done before. Mark Wahlberg gives you something to expect, and you don't need that in this movie because this movie relies on him being a dad who just wants to be a dad, even though he can't really do it right. And I get that. And I love that. And Mark did Mark, like I know him. Mark Wahlberg. Marky.
Mark.
He did a great job for what this was. And a couple scenes, it really worked because like, obviously the one that I played in the opening where he's looking for the person who sends the dick pics. Because that's Mark Wahlberg, I think that works a lot better than if it were a dramatic actor like anybody else. So it's such a weird, and I think Dylan killed it when he said it was disjointed because it's two movies that one is very good. Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. It was Dylan. One is very, very good. And the other one is Daddy's Home, and I don't particularly like those, but I did like this movie. I will say that. And
I think, and that's why I said, I think in one episode we did, Lion King, the reason why I thought you guys might like this is because it doesn't really force you to be emotional. It doesn't like how Collateral Beauty forced you to, you gotta be sad. But it gives you a chance to be like, hey, this could be, you can laugh, you can cry, you could be in the middle. So
because it did what Collateral Beauty did not do, which is actually give you a reason to feel those things instead of telling me why I should feel those things.
That's exactly what this was.
Don't tell me what to feel. Like looking at Dora, realizing that her mom is letting down not only her, but her younger kid. Like, dude, that was just beautiful to watch. And that was more emotion than Collateral Beauty gave me in the whole thing. You know,
Yeah,
Watch-
I'm going to say something about what Chris said that he didn't like about the movie.
I'm going to listen to Michael.
I'm going
say
to
something.
also listen to Michael say something.
Because when the mother, like, they're like, oh yeah, the mother is incarcerated, and I think, like, at least I felt like when I was watching it that she got out, and that's when what was her name in the movie? Dora's name in the movie. I don't want to keep calling her Dora.
Isabella.
Isabella.
No,
Lizzie-
that's her real
Lizzie?
name.
Lizzie.
Yeah, Lizzie.
When Lizzie found out that she got released from prison, you know, she was like, I would rather be with my mother, because she, you know, she grew up with the mother and the little kids didn't, and the little kids wanted to stay with Mark Wahlberg and his wife, but Lizzie was like, no, I would rather go with mom, so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we go back with mom, even though mom, you could tell, didn't really want them.
Now the thing, you know, for me, and I obviously can't speak for anyone on this panel or the people that refuse to be on this panel, but you know, I came from a very dysfunctional family. I came from a broken household, and you know, my parents divorced when I was 9, and my dad moved states away, and you know, having parents that were not good, but not for some reason, but I still wanted to. I knew my mom was not a good person. I knew she was doing some pretty bad stuff, but that was my mom, you know, and I had 2 younger sisters. I'm 6 years older than them. And at the time, you know, they were 2 and 3. And I was like, look, you guys got to go with dad, but mom needs me, you know, like I need to be there. So this movie kind of hit me in a spot that I wasn't expecting it to, especially because Quiet Place, Forrest Gump, Collateral Beauty, Lion King, and then you give me this. And good job, dude. Like I don't know how you watch this movie over and over, but I do like this. I do like this movie. I'll say this. I'll say this is one of my favorite Mark Wahlberg movies, and I did not want to like this. I was so excited to talk trash on another movie, as well as The Real Boys. But I like it. Good job.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Can I say the other thing that they really fucking jammed into this movie?
Yeah, please.
Was this 22-year-old janitor? There's 2 scenes where they talk about this guy. This should have been a big part of the movie. This should have been the central conflict of this movie. When they introduced the fact that the boy that this 15-year-old girl liked was this 22-year-old janitor, I was like, oh, they're finally giving some sort of outside drama to this movie. And then 40 minutes go by without talking about it once. And then they find that one scene with the phone in the bathroom, and then he goes and punches the guy. They get arrested, and they also never really talk about the parents getting arrested and why that didn't affect it. It's like it could have been something if they would have put more focus onto it, or they could have taken it completely out of the movie and it wouldn't have affected the movie at all.
Yeah,
I disagree.
I don't think I agree with that either.
Yeah, I think the point of what they're trying to do is show that she is like a rabble rouser. She is starting trouble. And I don't even know if she necessarily even likes that guy as much as she's trying to start friction everywhere. She is a teen that is lashing out. Her family is crashing. You know, she has Mark Wahlberg as a possible dad with Rose Byrne, who are just the whitest of people ever, you know, and she's leaving a culture, a family, and everything. And I think that it was more just her showing that she was smart, bad, raucous, you know, and I think that it was the right amount of that, because too much of that I think would have been dangerous for what they were trying to do. And I think just a soupçon of that gave Mark Wahlberg enough plate to, you know, to make a lot of jokes. But I liked it, dude. I thought it worked.
I would almost agree with Michael. I'll say I think what you're saying is true, but they could have used that better in the fact of it's shown that she makes bad decisions because she's 16 or whatever, how old she is. So that should have been brought up in court. The fact that she makes bad decisions and wanting to go with her mother is a bad decision. And with other things she had done with the, it would have contradicted everything that she had put in the letter saying that she should be with her mom because the parents were bad, which I was kind of mad that didn't get brought up because everything that they did wrong was because of her actions. So I wish that would have been brought up, but I think it would have been better if the whole issue with the mother wasn't brought up. That would have been a better contrast because of the fact that where it could have went, because of she needed that, and the whole. I understand what Michael's saying. I agree with it, but I think it could have led to a lot better things.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
there was plenty of things that showed that she was like making bad decisions and that she was lashing out. But when you put something as serious as a 15-year-old and this 22-year-old like creep that's creeping on this 15-year-old girl, like they blow it off in a way that I didn't feel comfortable with. If you put something that serious into your movie, you have to pay it off. Now, more than one scene 40 minutes later where the dad comes in and punches the guy in the face.
If I can speak on that, this movie is about parents. It's not about children, and parents are bad parents. And when bad parents treat kids bad, it's not necessarily the children that are making bad decisions. It's the fact that they have bad parents that are teaching them bad lessons. This movie is about parents that are failing, one that does not try again, another group that is trying too hard. That's all this is. This is a movie where and the thing is, like, people are like, I don't, when I have a child, Michael, I think you have a child.
I absolutely do.
Now there was one point. There was one point where I said to myself, I don't know if I'm going to be a good dad. I am so scared. How do I be and I was 19. How do I be a good dad? And I can see that there are people that were my age that were in the same situations. They didn't care about that. They're like, I'm having a child. But there are people that try, and there are people that don't try and just have children. The real mom did not try, had kids. Mark Wahlberg, they wanted to actually try. And I think that the things that Isabela was doing in this movie are because of bad role models, poor decision making, only because of her parental choices, not her, the choices that her parents were making at the time. So I think that I have to slightly disagree, but I'm also coming from a different point of view than
yeah. And I agree with what you're saying. But
if you think about it, what is the most modern thing that a teen girl can go through that a new family can have to deal with?
Yeah.
And the only thing I would say though is I think that it almost felt more of a let's throw something in there to add a little bit more chaos, and then just tie it off with a bow. It just was something quick and that they threw in, but the actual stance of it is so much more serious than a throwaway, because that is statutory rape. You don't want that. Shouldn't be something that is just walked over. So I think that's where Michael's coming from. Okay. Something that serious, you can't just throw in a movie and then tie it off real quick.
Yeah,
I think it was a lot more to it.
Yeah, and I'm like everything you said is 100% correct. That is what this movie is about. It's like the arc, Chris Harvey. The arc in this movie is beautiful. Like This tells a complete story. So throwing something like that in that is so serious and really not arcing it just sort of from here to here and then it's done.
Yeah.
That's
I can't fight with that. But
in the movie sense, I didn't like it. Like if it would have been more of a part of the movie and you took the mom part out, because I think we can all agree that the mom part was the least effective part of this movie. Yeah. If they would have done a little bit more with that, it probably wouldn't. It was just the fact that it was so disjointed. It was here. I'm introducing this serious thing to this already pretty serious movie, and then paying it off 40 minutes later with another throwaway scene. Although it does give us that beautiful scene of two adults harassing a nerd 15-year-old.
Love that. But what I'm going to say on that is that's a perspective, you know, and I do agree that yes, statutory rape is serious, and they really should have talked about that. But from the point of view of the 22-year-old piece of shit, real shitty dude, a 15-year-old, and obviously I can't speak to what a 15-year-old girl can think about, but what I can think about is a lot of times, especially nowadays, kids don't really take things that seriously. A lot of things on the internet are kind of like jokes, you know, it's like a lot of like blah, 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 blah between kids, you know, Snapchat, let me show you this, show you that, and send pictures of whatever, and I'm trying not to sound too old, but
I was going to say, our new podcast is Zack Explains the Youth.
When I get on the Snapchat, and then those pictures just disappear. Where do they go?
Hey, Zack, share your MySpace real quick.
Whatever the kids are putting on Talk Block
Zynga.
right now, I have no idea. But you can check me out on Vimeo, where I will put updates of what my socks look like. But no, what I'm saying is, like, I think that prospectively, you know, from her point of view, it wasn't trying to like do anything. It was, hey, I have attention of an older person. My mom does not pay attention to me. I'm struggling. There is this older man who is showing me attention, and I think that meant more than what he was doing for the storyline. But I will agree with I'll agree with everything you're saying.
I'm agreeing with everything you're saying. Like,
but I'm agreeing with everything you're saying.
But I'm agreeing with everything you're saying.
You know, we hate Dylan.
Thank God, all four of us can agree.
It's just I get why they did it, but they implemented it poorly.
And I respect your opinion, but I will respectfully disagree.
All right. Well, I respect your opinion, and I love you.
Enough. Another part I did not like, even though this is my favorite movie, there are many parts I don't like, and I think that's why I like it so much, is because there's so much I love about it, but there are things I don't like. I did not like the scene where they went to the parents' house for the pep talk from the very beginning. And do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I disliked that because I felt like they weren't, if they were in the classes more, but that was just one meeting, and they made it seem like they had this connection already, or they had this huge relationship, and they didn't. And so the way they went about it, and it just seemed off to me, like just another add-in. There was a lot of parts that felt like add-ins to this. And that part really, like, it just felt like too much. Like, you would never talk to someone like that. I think so. I don't think you would come to someone's house and shit on their kid. You know what I'm saying? And just the way they did it. And then she smacked her. And then it was like, no, it was just a weird scene to me. And I think it wasn't needed.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that scene helps demonstrate that this idealized version of parenthood that comes from shortcutting past the baby age, like past the stage where you're taking care of diapers and stuff. Even if troubled kids are not simple to take care of. And I think that was like, even this family who has their kid.
Was that a 2-gallon?
Everybody knows that
Was
the
that a
best
double
thing
gallon?
to do when you're on a podcast, an audio medium, is to load yourself up with dairy products so that you're all nice and gummy. You got to get all those nice mouth sounds in there.
I love me some chocolate milk.
Anyway. It's to show that even kids who have a chocolate milk problem sometimes have to go back to the well on occasion. Yeah. And, you know, it's like this kid came to this and was the reason we convinced it. And you're telling me she went back. And then the parents are like, well, yeah, she has problems. That doesn't mean it was a mistake. And so I thought that, I mean, I didn't think it was a terribly long scene. I think it was
too far.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it was
it's
really
weird for them to show up at their house. And I think they treat it like that in the movie. Because when they answer the door, they're like, oh,
because you're forcing a scene to try to be funny or to try to be something. And I agree with Chris.
Yeah, because they when they come to the scene, they're desperate, and this is like the thing that they thought of when they were desperate. So I get the scene, but yeah, it was another thing. The core of this movie is so like good, and could have made a perfect movie, you know, as it was. And then they do just tack in these extra things, and it feels tacked on rather than, you know, written into the arc of the movie, which I think is what prevents this from being. It also adds that extra half hour of running time, which is a lot.
Yeah, I think that just shows the inexperience of like the director, because he goes from being, you know, almost brass out comedies to trying to give you a story that, and then he's like, well, I gotta put jokes in here because that's what they expect. So I think that he's trying hard, and those scenes that we're saying we don't really like are emotional scenes for the most part, and they are scenes that are trying to get this story bigger and trying to, you know, make sure that it works. But I'll tell you what, though, you know, I liked that Lizzie took the same class as her parents to make sure that she knew the same lessons that them. I thought that was real clever.
Yeah,
Nope,
it just
I hate you guys.
No, that's fine. I was gonna say, but you know, there could be a throwaway where, you know, this movie has a lot of dysfunction to it because it's a dysfunctional family, just like it could be a dysfunctional movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not everything is perfect, and that might be part of it. It's sometimes things are longer and harder and don't make sense, or things came on that shouldn't, and that's the same thing with family, and maybe that's what the movie's about. Maybe it's a subliminal message.
Yeah, that you got to work at being a good parent.
Yeah, and they do. See, that's the thing that bothers me, because they show a lot of mistakes that parents make, which is, you know, Mark Wahlberg trying to be too much of a friend to the kids and not taking any responsibility for punishment. That happens. And, you know, the over punishment from the mom, because she's not getting backup from Marky Mark. Like, that stuff happens. And that was like the whole conceit of this movie. And they did a very good job. They made me like a Mark Wahlberg character because I saw him grow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he emoted like, you know, there were times where it was like the scene where he's like, you know, coming at the nerd kid. Yeah, that was built for comedy, but he also was actually emoting at the same time. Like, he was upset that there was a man texting, you know, a child, and I thought, this is one of the best times I had with Mark Wahlberg, my old buddy Marcus.
There's a scene where you see it in him, like in his character, that he grew, and it's when he takes her to the house to use the sledgehammer. You know, he's like, all right, I get it, and I'm going to take responsibility for these kids, but I'm going to do it in a different way. I'm going to try something different. And like, that scene really worked for me. Him, you know, having her skip school to go to the house so that she could smash some shit up with a sledgehammer.
Yeah,
I appreciated that out of this movie. And everything that I liked about this movie was in the two houses that this family owned, the one that they lived in and the one that they bought. Everything good in this movie happened in those places.
Well, the Thanksgiving scene I thought was really powerful.
Yeah.
I think it had just enough funny and seriousness in it. And I was just about to say this was, I think what I love about this movie is it builds, so it's a lot of characters in this, and it builds, you know, Mark and his wife up so well of character building, but then the kids, you fall over the kids themselves. But every single character in this movie has something special about them. When he comes from, is it Octavia Spencer that's in this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When it comes to her and the other lady that you got, the other comedian,
Tig Notaro.
Tig Notaro, those two are doing an amazing job. They're believable social workers.
Yeah,
Joe Cusack. Even Joan Cusack doing crazy stuff.
I was so surprised.
I was
when
shocked.
I see Joan Cusack,
She's
it's
that
like,
weird
oh god,
neighbor.
She's the neighbor at the end who wants to hug.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was that character wasn't really needed, but it was so great.
It was really good.
And then to have Joan Cusack be that character, like,
perfect.
Oh, okay, this meant something. That's okay. I'm into that. Dude, I'm gonna fight Michael on this one. This movie is better than he's given it credit for.
And then I'm going to explain all the characters real quick. The gay couple was amazing from jump to end.
Mm-hmm.
The Christian couple, like everyone who had a specific part, they played it so well. Elijah Schlesinger, you knew what she was and what she was doing. And then even to the fact of each individual of the family at the Thanksgiving scene, Tom Segura and his wife, You knew their MO. The other wife, and even though the husband only had one line in that, it was a very big line. You know what I'm saying? And then the wife, the two
Margo Martindale,
Esteemed
just
character
absolutely
actress.
crushing it.
Who was that?
She's the probably one of my favorite
grandma.
scenes in the grandma. She's one of my favorite scenes is when her and Rose Byrne are talking, and Rose Byrne's like, we love you, right? And Margo just looks at her and she goes,
No,
look,
but that's me.
No,
I fucking told you that.
but I love you both. And
She's incredible. My favorite character besides Lizzie. We're gonna put her to the side because she's like way the fuck up here. But Grandma Sandy was so fucking great.
From jump. As soon as she came in with the Six Flags thing, and then like she greets them all, and then goes, "How you doing?" Whatever the mom's name was, and just like you're like, okay, you see where this relationship is. But she still loved them and showed. And to me, like that hit me because like that's how I expect the grandma to be. That's how I expect that's how my mom is. It's just very lovey-dovey, and then to be almost badass to Lizzie, and then get the Grandma Sandy shirt, and she's like, "Oh, okay, it's fine." I that's what I'm used to. And then, but I also love the other grandma because that rivalry at the end was so nice, where she got the shirt but she didn't. I thought that was a beautiful offset.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plus the makeup with the marker. Super fun.
Yeah. That.
What's a dick pic? And she started makeup on, and it's just I don't know. I love this movie.
Yeah.
I did great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna agree. I didn't expect much.
I didn't expect much either. But when I felt good and sad and happy at the end of this movie, and I'm like, this is the way that you do this.
Yeah.
I still say Collateral Beauty did it in the worst way, and this movie does it in the best way. It actually made you feel the emotions. It didn't make you feel the emotions. It let you feel the emotions.
It shows you how strong comedy is, as in how good a good joke is written. It can come from a dark place. It can come from some pain or something, but still have beauty and emotion behind it. And that's what I do love about this. Also, another character, the judge, being the dude from George Lopez show, hilarious. And just the way he's goofy but he's still a judge. So I just love every character in this. I think the movie's dope.
And to touch on what Michael said, like they were showing you the way to emote properly in a movie. But I think the most interesting thing is they're showing you through a way where you have to pay attention to the children to get the most emotion. You really have to like dive into what they're thinking and what they're going through to get the most out of this movie. And from my point of view of parenting, I think that is the best way of doing it. You got try, fail, admit your mistakes, do some goofy stuff, make great memories, but just keep fucking trying, dude. You just keep trying. And this movie, unfortunately, is going to mean more to me than I want it to. And I'm only saying, and it's because and it's not because this is like a bad movie or whatever. Like, I'm a movie dude. I invest a lot of my time in learning about movies and studying movies, finding out who's in what. This movie did not exist to me. I did not know about this movie. And with the actors that are in this, with Rose Byrne, I should have seen this movie. With Mark Wahlberg in it, I should have seen it just to be a joke, just to joke about it. But this movie, I'm gonna go buy it.
I think the reason why Mark Wahlberg actually works in this movie is because of who's surrounding him in this. I think it's just everyone complements each other really well in this.
It's good chemistry here.
Something I loved about this movie too was the jokes. We're commenting on things that people think a lot, like, what Mark Wahlberg said when they walked into the park to pick a kid up. He's like, usually you can't do this. You can't just pick a kid in the park. And then he makes the joke about being the white savior. And I think those are things that people come, and it was doing the joke before we thought it. Yeah. Like the whole Elijah Schlesinger joke where she's like, so off like The Blind Side, thinking it was a joke. I loved all that. Same with the couple when they're like, we're trying to conceive also. You know what I'm saying? Like that those kind of jokes, to me, they all landed so well.
Yeah. I think that the comedy in this movie did need to be there, or it could have ended up in the Collateral Beauty department where it was just a drag the entire time.
Yeah.
This thing did need those. It had the lighthearted moments exactly where you needed them. And God damn it, Mark Wahlberg was good in this. Fuck.
Yeah. And I'll say, for me, I think the reason that Mark Wahlberg was so successful in this is because it is about mistakes, and it is about messing up, and it is about being like, I'm not great at this, but I'm going to just try, and I want to try because I feel like I probably should, and people are now expecting things out of me. And I feel that probably he connected with this role because it is one of his best roles.
And they're also they're not asking him to carry the movie.
Yeah.
He's in the movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to carry this movie. He can't carry a movie, but if you put him in something like this with an ensemble cast, he's apparently that's where he needs to be.
And you think like he's got nobody to match, he doesn't have to match Will Ferrell's weirdness with something or being the polar opposite of somebody. Like he actually gets to be a character that has like a point and a curvature to the arc. And I dig it, dude. I was upset. I'm upset with how much I like this movie.
I was also mad at how much I liked it.
Like just angry. I'm like, I'm gonna lower my rating because I should not like this much. I'm like, is a 9 too high for Mark Wahlberg?
I felt that.
Yes.
I felt that when you guys said you watched the trailer, and I'm like, man, I don't think that. I hope they don't go into this with like expectations because the trailer doesn't give it justice. So I was like, hopefully you guys watch it and just enjoy it.
Honestly, maybe my expectations even helped it out because I'm like, dude,
yep,
this
absolutely.
Is like Mark Wahlberg trying to be a dad to 3 kids. Come on, dude. I'm like, oh, Rose Byrne, cool. That's
maybe because in Mark Wahlberg movies he plays like a tougher character a lot. Maybe because he didn't have to have that. Maybe that's why you liked him better because he didn't have to be the macho character, and he was actually more vulnerable in this.
True.
Yeah, and I also liked him in The Other Guys, where he doesn't play a macho character at all.
Yeah, and we also like him in The Happening, where he's not macho whatsoever.
We also love him in The Happening. God, The Happening is so good.
Maybe that's what it is. Like, I think the fact that he looks like he's tough is the worst thing for Mark Wahlberg.
Have you seen Four Brothers?
Love Four Brothers.
Okay, yeah. And Michael hasn't, so that's
no.
Yeah, I think you.
That's something I wanted to watch. That's my number 6 favorite movie.
Dude, anything with Andre 3000 and I'm a fan of.
Whoa,
so, go get it.
Nobody told me Andre 3000 was in it.
Dude, Michael, can we do this as a Friday movie? It's one of my favorite movies. It was in Quiet Place's place. The only reason I put Quiet Place there was because Quiet Place 2 is coming out, and I was really excited to see it.
I swear it was because I swore it was because of the nail thing.
I just like nails. It's my favorite object.
Nails through the foot.
Andre 3000 is one of the Four Brothers.
All right, I'm in.
You should watch it.
I'm in. Say no more. I'm watching it.
Yeah,
it's so good.
And even like Boogie Nights, whenever Mark Wahlberg's not being a tough bro, it works for me. And yeah, I like, dude, Chris Harvey, you might actually have good taste in movies if you're not trying to be funny.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was all a setup.
I think that the number 1 was genuine, and he had to find a shitty movie with a nail through the foot to set up that joke. It took so long. Chris, you are a comedy genius. I cannot stress this enough. This was the funniest thing. When that nail went through his foot, I said, fucking the master of callbacks, Chris Harvey. I love this.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Chris Harvey did the reverse of what the rest of the Real Boys did, which was they gave us kind of a good movie as number 5, and then just let us down the rest of the season. Where Chris gave us a whole bunch of stinkies until the end, and then it really just paid off because you're like, oh, okay, well now Chris Harvey's my best friend. And
you really paid it off here, Chris.
I tried to do a build.
Yeah, no sarcasm here. Great job on your number 1 pick.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm trying to win. We're keeping score, right?
Yeah, we are, and you're not doing well. I'll say that. So you needed this. You needed this at Lion King.
If Lion King had more people at it, I would have won with that one. Was probably really high.
Yeah.
And so I had 3 rough ones, But my Lion King one was a good pick, and this one's.
I agree. Yeah, and if you want to do Four Brothers, we do have a slot open for December 10th, which is our next special episode. I don't think we have a movie pick for that. So if everybody wants to do that, I'm down with popping in for yelling at.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's actually a really good movie.
I've actually probably seen that more than any movie I've seen, even Forrest Gump.
Wow, that is so crazy.
I have a weird thing.
It's so
that
weird,
another
the movies you just put on? That's a drama.
Is it another 2-hour long movie? Because
it's rough.
Yeah.
It's
for somebody who says, "Oh, I don't like long movies," you're like, "Oh, I've watched fucking Forrest Gump and Instant Family the most times." Those are 2 fucking long movies.
I would say, Four Brothers is longer than Instant Family for sure.
Dude, Pitch Black, he had to watch it in 3 naps. And he puts this movie on to do dishes. He said, if I gotta eat, I'll put this on.
Yeah,
you eat every day.
Pitch Black. Oh,
I
almost took 3 naps during Pitch Black.
It has to have a really interesting story to me, or something. And when we watch Four Brothers, you'll understand why I enjoy it so much. I grew up more closer to that, and I that's kind of more of things I understand. It's a very hood movie. It's a hood cult classic type of movie, and I love Mark. That's why I think I love Mark Wahlberg. That's probably the first movie I see with him in it.
I can definitely. I think the movies that you picked sort of do like round you out as a person. Like I totally understand why. I understand why Chris's picks are the way he is. Chris Harvey has had a character arc through this season of The Real Boys.
Yeah, he really thought
he's the main character. He's a heart.
He's the only one to think out. He played 4 steps ahead of us the entire season.
He really did.
He knew it was going to be point related. He knew that we were going to need callbacks later on. The guy is a podcast mastermind.
Thank you.
Almost a podcast mogul if he had more than 2.
7D
I
chess.
know. I wish my podcast would have kept going. I couldn't get the other guy to come do more episodes.
I'll be
find
Chris.
somebody named Chris.
I'll be a Chris.
All he needs is our Chris.
Dude, we were trending. We were having views. Like I don't know what happened.
Dude, I know.
I'm trying to start with another one.
I was looking at the numbers. Well, let me know because you're funny.
Yeah, you really are, Chris.
I'm a star, guys. I don't know if you guys realize this.
No, I mean,
there's a lot of stars here.
Yeah, we know.
There's a lot of stars here. We're all stars.
We are big fans of Chris Harvey here.
You're
on
going
the
to blow
Real
up, and then you guys are going to get to say, "Hey, we had him on our podcast at one point." I won't talk to you guys anymore when that happened. But
I also don't doubt that.
If the reverse were true, I wouldn't talk to you either.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to us either.
Yeah. When he had that, when we got that one message where he's like, "Hey, I might have this blah blah blah," and I don't want to give it away just in case with that big name actor. I was like, "Oh, dude, he's never coming back here." And then it's like,
what was it that I was doing? Was it the Brandon Fraser one?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was Mark Wahlberg.
It's like once I saw that message, I was like, "Yo, he's out. Like he's doing his thing."
I got COVID. I couldn't do it.
Aw.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach called me that day crying that you wouldn't be on the show anymore.
Yeah. Chris was supposed to be Brendan Fraser's butt double in that.
Essentially. And that movie's about to come out, I think, soon. And I showed up to set and I had COVID because I had 2 really big theater shows the night before. And they're like, "Did you not wear a mask?" I was like, "Look, man, there was some hoes there. I don't know. So I didn't mean like that, but like some I made out with a stripper that night. I'm not lying. This really happened. I
made money, lost money. You can't wear a mask.
I had a great night. And then I didn't get to be in a Brendan Fraser movie the very next day. Consequences, people. Be a Christian.
But he honestly doesn't regret it though, which is cool. So go at it.
I definitely regret it.
Get COVID, hook up. FB words, make money. I forgot how that goes. Yeah.
Disregard women and acquire currency.
That's funny. I'm gonna put that on my MySpace page. Okay, so let's do reels. I don't think there's anything else to talk about this movie. We already went over our favorite scenes.
Was one of our better episodes, by the way. This is a really good conversation.
I agree. You know, when more than 2 people show up, the show gets pretty good. So yeah, I'm really happy for Mike and Dylan to have somebody.
We don't have to constantly bail water.
To be honest, 4 people is perfect for this podcast.
I agree. I think
any more is a little much, and underneath is too little.
Well, you're probably officially invited to season 2 of The Real Boys, whatever it's called.
Yay.
I second that. I
yeah.
second Chris Harvey on the
Yeah.
second season of Real
Big
Boys.
big fan of Chris Harvey. But all right, let's do reels and let's find out where people can hear Chris Harvey's voice and us talking about Chris Harvey when he doesn't show up for other shows. So now, Chris, do you remember when you watched this the first time? Is this movie like, did it sick in like that, or is it just a movie that you've kind of over the last like 3 years just kind of had?
I seen it in theaters. Because I used to go to theaters every Tuesday and watch every movie in theaters. And I think it was something that I just happened to see. Yeah. And I looked up the trailer and I was like, oh, I'll watch it. So I would go on Tuesdays. It was $5 movie day and I would watch 5 movies in a day. Yeah. And that's what I did. And it was one of my movies and I watched it again. And then I just kept clicking. As soon as it went on Amazon Prime, I think I watched it 3 times.
Yeah. Yes, dude, I missed the $5 Tuesdays. That was
we still got to do. Oh, you know what I had was Movie Pass when that was around. Did you ever have that?
Yeah,
that was the best deal ever.
One of them's coming back. I think the Regal one's trying to do something. I forget which one.
It was the actual app called Movie Pass, and it was $10 a month. You could watch 1 movie a day for free. Yeah, and I would go all the time. We had to watch yesterday on this, so I can talk shit about Zack.
Dude, that movie sucks.
I've seen it 3 times in theaters.
That movie sucks so hard. That movie sucks worse than Phil Better's movie list.
Whoa, no. Let's not go that far.
Are we gonna have to bleep out this for the audio recording?
I'm not saying it sucks I'm not saying it sucks as bad as Boondock Saints. I'm just saying it sucks as bad as his list of movies that he likes. That movie's really, really pathetically bad. And, sure. I'll okay. So imagine one day, if you will, Michael.
I know what it's about.
It's a long
That's why I haven't seen it.
Imagine all the people, right? Imagine all the people. Imagine there was no religion, Michael.
You know what I would do if I woke up and the Beatles didn't exist?
What?
Everything normally.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is there another band? I've asked Dylan this before, but is there another band that movie would actually be good for? Where it's like, oh, you've never heard of Nickelback? Well, allow me, sir.
No, because if anyone else
pretty good,
played a Nickelback cover and was trying to be, they wouldn't get famous off of that.
Yeah. I don't dislike the Beatles, but like it's fine.
But with everyone's favorite band and everyone's inspiration being the Beatles, if the Beatles never existed, like most music wouldn't have existed.
That's what I did know about this movie, was that all of the bands that existed afterwards still existed, and that doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Because the Beatles absolutely is the genesis of all.
And even some of those bands got famous for doing covers of Beatles songs, which are still in the movie, which is annoying. But
we're not talking about yesterday. We're giving reels for Modern Family, Instant Family, not Modern Family. The show. I've almost said Modern Family literally every time I say the name of this movie.
Yeah. Cut to me in a very nice shirt with cool collars being like, I don't know what he's doing. Dude, I love Modern Family. All right, so reels. Chris Harvey, out of 10 reels, Instant Family.
I gave a 10 to Lion King because it was a family. It was my favorite movie growing up, and it stayed my favorite movie all my whole life. Sometimes the best movies have flaws, and the best, Michael Jordan wasn't great at everything, but he's the greatest of all time. Same with LeBron, he's the second greatest of all time. Same with a lot of things. It's okay to have flaws, and this movie had flaws, but it still gets a 10.
Woo! 10. Okay.
Chris Harvey. Chris Harvey with the philosophy.
You like my speeches?
I love it. That's great. That was a good one. Honestly, that's why we're going to invite you back to season 2 for a speech. Now, hey, bro, Michael Colby, out of 10 reels.
Hey, out of 10 reels. This was the movie of Chris Harvey's that I enjoyed by far the most.
Yeah.
The acting, I can't overstate how good of an actress Dora the Explorer is. She is wonderful. Yeah. The other kid actors were great.
Yeah.
There was a lot of good character development in this movie.
Yeah.
It had a couple things that it felt tacked on, and it felt like it didn't need to be there. It was also, like I said at the beginning of this, unforgivably long. It was unforgivably too long.
No,
I'm giving it
under 2 hours is not unforgivably long.
It was, for what it was too long.
No,
I'm giving it
unforgivably long. You're wrong.
I can't forgive it for being as long as it is, and it took down a reel, and I'm giving it 8 reels. Lame. Which is more than any I've given to any of Chris's movies.
Real quick.
Yes, sir.
Wait, real quick. Can I argue? Do you feel that this movie is only 1 reel better than The Lion King? Because you gave that a 7.
Yeah, because I also enjoyed The Lion King. I enjoyed watching The Lion King.
You think this movie's better than Lion King?
I enjoyed it more.
Yeah,
we are giving subjective reels to movies, and I enjoyed watching this movie. Thank you, Nick Malati. I do like things.
No, he doesn't, dude. I've seen messages where like, I don't really like things.
I gave The Lion King 7 reels, which is a good score.
Not for Lion King.
And I'm giving this, which I enjoyed more than The Lion King, 8 reels.
Yeah.
Which, because I enjoyed it.
I didn't expect 8 out of you for this one.
I didn't expect 8 out of me either.
Yeah.
I expect 10 from everybody.
I was thinking to myself, somehow I got to talk Michael up to a 7.
You would have after the first 40 minutes of this movie, because I was at a 6 at the first 40 minutes.
Before you start real, remember you just said that you have to go buy this movie. So buy a movie,
I'm in, dude. I'm in.
Okay.
But we're gonna get Dylan Terry's reels first.
Oh yeah. No, this movie was a surprise. I think looking at the entirety of every movie that we've ever watched on the Real Boys, including Fridays, this is the biggest surprise on that list for me. Because I went in and I'm like, it's gonna be a sappy family thing about foster care.
And it was.
Wahlberg's in it. And it was.
It was very sappy.
But it works.
Yeah.
It delivers its lines well. All the characters feel authentic and the situations they're in. I don't have an issue with this length, and I didn't have an issue even with the mom re-entering. I thought it was a good potential third act, like darkest spot thing where you have these kids that are slowly getting acclimated to this family, including the difficult one. And she's the only one who remembers who her mom is effectively. And the mom comes back and seems to have turned a new leaf. And you're thinking, oh, all of their work has been undone. And then turns out she was trying too hard, because bad parent, got to change for yourself. You can't change for other people. Sometimes that includes your kids. I didn't have an issue with all of those. I'm giving this an 8 out of 10, I think. Mostly because I try to avoid giving odd numbers. I would rate this a really strong 8 because I like 5 stars better than 10. So an 8 is a 4 out of 5. I don't know.
You're so weird.
I'm so weird. You're right.
Now, here's the thing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's 8 out of 10. Really solid kind of like movie. The reason I'm not rating it higher is probably because I don't know that I'll ever rewatch it.
Do you know what another even number is? It's 10.
It is an even number. You're right, but it has an odd number. It has an odd number in it, which is 1. So I'm not.
What about a really low 10?
A really low 10
instead of a strong 8.
like a 10.0.
A strong 8 or a low 10 is called a 9, and Dylan doesn't do that kind of thing.
Chris, you can lie to people and tell them I gave it a 10. I don't care, but they're not going to listen. So I'm giving this an 8 out of 10, only because I wouldn't rewatch this unless someone specifically asked to put it on.
It gets better the more you watch it.
If someone asked me for this type of movie, I think this would be the number 1 movie I recommended for this type of movie.
Because there's been many times you say you would not recommend a movie that
I wouldn't. But this one, if somebody was looking for a sappy, drama, comedy, family friendly thing, I think this would be the one that I recommended them, because it's like,
give me a good Mark Wahlberg movie.
You know how in Maine they put the spigot in the tree to get the sap out? Instead of trickling out in this movie when they stab it into the tree, it shoots out like blood out of Johnny Depp's bed in Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street.
Going back to compare this to Collateral Beauty, at least nobody sits down on a bench and is like, make sure you notice all of the instant family.
I was waiting. That was gonna give it a 7 from me if somebody would have said Instant Family.
Wow,
it
guys,
would have went down.
We really got ourselves an Instant Family here. Nope. Yep. 5 reels. Get me out of here. Just that one line. But no. So for me, this
they
movie
had
was
many times to say that too.
That's true. This movie for me was so unexpected and so grossly delightful. I really now, granted, I probably won't rewatch this movie anywhere near as often as Chris Harvey. I might check it out once again because I like to watch movies twice just to really get everything out of a film. Because people do make this now, being that this is somebody's, real story, somebody's journey. Let me try to get the actual jokes. But just like parents, you can't really tell what they look like until you really spend time with them. And a lot of parents are not great. Almost every single parent makes mistakes and has their flaws. This movie has flaws, it has mistakes, and I rarely overlook as many flaws as I probably seen in this movie. But I will say, for the things that I look for, this movie checked every single box, especially being a Mark Wahlberg movie, which I might give it an extra point. I have no idea. I was just baffled the entire time. But I kept looking at this being like, is this good? Is this good? Oh my God, is this good? But I will say I'm going to give this 9 out of 10 reels, and mostly because there isn't the rewatchability. It is a little too dense of a plot for me to kind of keep hopping into. I would definitely, if it was on, I would watch it and I would skip forward or hop back to a couple scenes just to see, especially Mark Wahlberg trying to fight kids. But yeah, solid 9 out of 10 reels. And I so happy that you brought this. I would have never have ever known about this movie if you didn't promise to show up here so that I would have to watch it to be here. So yeah, I'm at 9, dude. Hard 9. And I thank you. Good job.
Okay. Awesome. I'll take it. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, really good job. And honestly, it's because you gave us Forrest Gump is why I think I like this so much. But either way, I do. Okay, so we got to get out of here. I really appreciate. We probably all appreciate all of your attention. Let us know what you thought about Instant Family or my voice crack, which is cool. Yeah, if put all of your chat stuff down in the comments. Let us know how many reels out of 10 you would give it. Let us know what you think of Dylan's artwork, which I still am a fan of because I gave it to him. Let us know if you think that Michael Colby's a little too fuzzy for actual reality. Let us know if you think Chris Harvey should come back for season 2, even though we've asked him a couple times and he leaves us on red, which is very weird. Now you can find Dylan Terry on most things at Vorpal Words. You can hear all of his words on everything some nobodies do and does, such as Silicon Angels, Create Your Own Podventure, Appeal, and so many more, dude. He writes words on words on words, which is weird because he's running out of ink and you can't read it because it's on top of each other. Either way, Michael Colby, you can see him in everything that Jack Billings presents. He's got some new stuff coming out soon. You can also see him on Generation Clash, where he fights with people about they do not fight.
No fighting. No fighting in that show. That is a 100% positive show.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, you're right. I meant, yeah, I don't know why I said fight. It's not fight. It's great. Yeah, but either way, they clash. I guess it's because Clash,
yeah,
like yeah. It's Clash of
generationally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original name of that show was supposed to be My Generation Clash, open parentheses, at the disco, exclamation point, close parentheses.
Way too long.
It was way too long.
Way too long. And you can see Chris Harvey randomly asking to be on open mic nights, walking around the Atlanta area, and also greeting people at Costco, even though he doesn't work there.
No. Chris Harvey is a headliner, baby.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he does that in his spare time. He's such a great dude. He just goes in and greets people as they walk into random stores. But yeah, Chris plus Chris show. Check it out. Hopefully we can get another Chris and hop on there. And really, the rest of the 4 boys, they have their own movie show, so you can go check them out whenever you want to. Phil Better, if you don't know, he's got a couple shows. Most of them are about movies.
He's not here. Quit talking about him.
But
I keep telling him to stop. I keep telling him to stop plug people who aren't here.
Well, wait, I don't know if you know about Phil Better's new shows, though. He made 3 new shows this week.
Zach has a bit. Let him
he's
do
not
it.
Here. Zach
has a bit.
I mean,
I've been to the last 3 episodes, and I've only seen you 4.
I do love Phil's new show, Say Olay, eh? It's about It's about Canadian bullfighting.
Oh, that's weird. He must have two then, because I was going to say the one where it's Say-O-Lay-A, where he actually goes behind old Sears, finds old expired makeup, and really just reviews the packaging, which is weird. Dylan, have you heard one of Phil's new shows?
It's a YouTube series where it's just him rolling around in the mud.
All right, what's that called?
Yeah. It doesn't have like a series title. It's just the date he does it. It's like 11.
I thought you guys were talking about the one of where he robs people in the hood.
Wait,
and then he tells them it's a prank afterwards.
What's that one called?
the weird hoods of Canada. When he gets caught, he's like, no, this is a show. You got pranked. Here's your stuff back before the cops come.
They're like, oh my God, it's Ashton Kutcher.
Wait, what's that one called, Chris?
Oh, that's called Double Down.
Double Down, Phil Better style. I love it. I gotta check that out. Either way, you can check out all those shows on the Phil Better network with his weird Phil Better VPN.
But quick, do you guys think there could be a sequel to Instant Family?
No,
it would not be good.
No, please don't.
For season 2, we should only watch sequels.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Let's have a rotating weekly topic. Yeah.
Yeah, I love sequels. They're so bad, and they're usually from something out of passion, and they're so bad. And it's so bad. Funny.
22 Jump Street did it right.
Instant Family 2 would not be good at all.
No.
They would need to either adopt another child, have a child, or Dora has a child.
They would the only way that Instant Family 2 would work if it was a different story about a different family adopting.
It's about a mad scientist who clones his dead family members.
Okay, there you go. All right, yeah, horror movie, straight up 80s.
If it was a horror movie, it's always going to be okay.
Instant Family, guy orders a packet of Grow Your Family Members.
That's funny.
Back to the Future 3 was the best one. Is that Instant Future? That's an Instant Family 2?
That's a controversial topic.
That's opinion. Controversial, but I don't know that I would totally disagree with that.
Are you kidding me? Okay, Back to the Future 3 isn't even the best Back to the Future sequel, much less the best sequel. It's not.
Do I just need to run the outro? Should I just run the outro?
Okay, I love you guys. Thank you very much. Be good. Drink some water.
Bye.